Vanakkam. Welcome back to our course on SAP Materials Management. In this session, we will discuss how to execute external operations as part of production order execution. Before going to the session, let us see the answers for the quiz we discussed last session. What is subcontracting purchase? Subcontracting is utilizing services of a supplier to perform specific operations on a component or to assemble a product from the components supplied to them. This may be done due to various reasons. List reasons for subcontracting. The reasons may be there may be a constraints in technology or capacity of the company, or there may be over demand from the market for the product, or there was a breakdown in a machine, a sudden breakdown, or there is a seasonality of the product, like in summer high demand is there, in winter low demand is there, like that. So these kind of things, they may not be able to have a permanently high capacity, so at that time they will do the subcontracting to outsource the operation. What are the details to be updated in material master for subcontracting purchase? For material to be purchased, purchasing view has to be maintained, and procurement type F and the special procurement type 30 in MRP2 view have to be maintained. Is production version mandatory for subcontracting? Yes. In S4 HANA, the production version is mandatory for subcontracting. The only thing is, for this production version, it is required to link only the bill of material. What is the movement type to move the material to the vendor? It is 541. See, every time when we discuss, we are discussing about masters and also about the movement types, because these are the two basic things for any user or consultants. If you are clear on these things, you can crack any kind of requirements coming from your business or from your clients. As part of specific purchasing procedures, so far we discussed scheduling agreement, interplan purchase, and subcontracting. In this session, we will discuss executing external operations, which is part of the production order. In a production with multiple operations, if one or more operations are not able to be executed due to various constraints, but they need to be performed by a vendor, it may be executed as subcontracting process or as external operations, which is internal part of the production order. In the last session, we discussed the subcontracting procedure. So in this session, we are going to discuss external operation. External operation is performed through production order without creating separate intermediate codes and the bill of materials. We will see the details how to execute them, right from setting the master and also executing the orders. In most plants, to handle external operation, materials bill of material is broken down into sub-materials, and external operations are processed through regular subcontracting process. Now let us discuss it with the example. A finished component, a fin comp, has to be produced from raw material, and it is having the sequence of operations shown here. That is, operation 10 is cutting internal, operation 20 is heat treatment external, operation 30 is internal grinding internal, operation 40 is outer grinding, that is external, 50 is the finishing. So these are the various operations. Normal approach is to process the internal and external operations. Intermediate codes and respective bill of materials are created, which are shown here. As operations are internal and external, for each stage, the intermediate code is created and the respective bill of materials is also created. For example, in the first operation, raw material is processed with an external work center. After this operation, this work in process component have to be sent for external operation. To facilitate this, an intermediate code fincomp-cut is created. To execute this operation, a bill of material is created with fincomp-cut as a header material, raw material as the child material. After completing the first operation, FinCom cut will be in stock. It will be sent to subcontracting supplier to produce the next level component FinCom HT. To process the subcontracting process, bill of material is created with FinCom HT as header material and FinCom cut as the child material. Like this, multiple bill of materials will be created for these operations. So by following the process we just saw, there will be a multiple purchase orders and the production orders to be executed to complete the conversion of raw material to the FinCom. This approach leads to increased number of materials to handle and multiple orders like a purchase orders and production orders to handle. There is no proper link between parent material and child material. For example, now we have to trace all these intermediate materials to understand what is the status. And ambiguity in cost analysis of the material, because there is a production order, there is a purchase order, some quantity is going to purchasing cost, something is coming to the production, how to trace the total cost. And also reduced clarity on the status of material production progress. Where is the material? How the production is going on? Where is the production? So we have to discuss purchase, we have to discuss with production, different orders. So clarity is reduced. So these are the various issues. So to overcome all these things, so now SAP has given the option of external operation. For external operation, only single level bill of material is required to link the component with the raw materials. And also single routing will be enough. But only thing is we need to have some phantom codes representing the external operations here, so that we will be handling, though we will be using those phantom codes for stocking and also to send out. This one we will discuss how we are going to use it. So let us discuss various master data to set and execute external operations, starting with material master. So there will be a parent component and raw material to be managed like a regular material master. Phantom material will be required based on number of external operations with the specific attributes. Coming to bill of materials, a regular bill of material component, we need to include phantom also to be included as one of the component, because we created phantom representing external. No? That has to be included as part of bill of materials. Otherwise, it is a regular bill of material. Purchasing info record has to be created for material group and not for material. And work center has to be created to represent the supplier. So there will be one work center has to be created specifically to represent one supplier. That also has to be there. And then routing will be created where the external operations there, the purchasing info record will be linked through this routing, and also relevant control key has to be used. Production version has to be created where the bill of material and routing will be linked. And then a proper product costing has to be done to include the cost of external operations and internal operations. So I just gave the summary here, right? We'll go them one by one. As we discussed, the material for component and the input raw materials will be created like a regular material. But to execute the external operation, we should also create a phantom material to monitor the stock and also to monitor the movement details. That phantom material has to be created with some logic. This is my suggestion. Take the finished component code and add a suffix with the abbreviation of the operation involved. For example, if comp001 is the final component, and if e-treatment is outsourced, then comp001 HT may be a phantom. If gear grinding is outsourced, then comp001 GG may be phantom. If painting is outsourced, then comp001 PG may be a phantom. Like this, phantom codes may be created. Please define a standardized approach to define the phantom metal code, as it is important to track the inventory of these metals during regular operations. And we need to create basic views, purchasing views, MRP views, and store location views for phantom numbers, phantom codes. Material group is created to define purchasing info record to capture the cost of external operations. This may represent the operations to be carried out like a heat treatment, grinding, assembly, etc. Next, we need to create bill of material for parent component with the child component. In this, we need to include phantom material. To include phantom material, specific steps to be followed. In bill of material, raw material is included as a child, as a first item. And then phantom item is added in two lines as a negative line. So in our case, it is item 330, item 30. In negative number, no, it is included to bring the phantom stock into the system while confirming the operation which brings out the process metal to be sent out. Now we are processing one operation. That operation output, right? That has to be sent out for next operation. So here we have to get the material, we have to send it out. So there we are putting this -1. And at the same time, when you're confirming the next operation, it has to be consumed, because there should not be any stock of this metal in between, right? Once the production order is completed, there should not be anything there. So now to consume this, we have to put this a positive number, that is a 0020 we added here. So now this will be clear for you when we are discussing about the routing and also the production orders. That time will be more clear for you. See, for the phantom items included in the bill of materials for the both lines 0020 and 0030, costing is not relevant. So we have to remove that cost relevance, okay? Because we don't need to cost this material here. We do not bring the cost through this. For external operations, purchase info record is created for the metal group. Purchase info record will be created through ME11. Please note, we select subcontracting under info category. Inside purchasing info record, update the metal group, capture the info record name as operations. Other details are entered as regular purchase info record. Please note that metal groups can be created to indicate the operations. It may be applied to any material. Cost of operation may be same for many materials with the same vendor. In that case, same purchasing info record may be used. So please take note of it. So otherwise, there will be a multiple info records, multiple unnecessary details will be created, unnecessary data will be created. So these things have to be focused. This is the job of the master data controller to control all these things. Then capture the details in purchase order data as a regular purchase info record. Please note this info record is created for metal group. Capture the details in conditions tab as a regular purchase info record. After updating all the details, save the purchasing info record. To carry out external operation, we need to create a work center representing the supplier. Cost of external operation is captured through purchase info record. So there is no need to create costing view for this work center, but it may have capacity view to arrive at capacity requirements external operations. For example, we want to monitor what is the stock available with the supplier. We can define them as a master, then monitor that also. And also scheduling view can be maintained so that we can schedule the operations which is going to the supplier. For external operations, control key with external processing must be used. Here we see PP02 is having external processing with option plus mark. This is as per the standard settings. If we select X mark, both internal and external are possible. So normally this PP02 may be assigned to the work center as a default control key in the default values. Just to add, work center basic may be created like regular work centers. It is suggested to use backflush to consume the phantom metal while confirming the external operation of the production order. So here we can use this phantom based, work center based backflush. So please keep this in mind. While creating routing with the external operations, we need to have purchasing info record created for metal group. This need to be assigned to external operations in routing. And a control key for external operations should be assigned as PP02, or another control key which is having the function of external operation is triggered. Phantom metal created for external operations must be assigned to the specific operations. These things have to be taken care of. While creating operations, two parameters must be checked. First, control key for external operations should be PP02. As we discussed, if other control key is used, ensure that external operation is captured in that control key. Second, for external operations, we need to assign purchasing info record. So now let us double click the 0020, which is the external operation. We get the error that control key PP02 is there. So we have to maintain the external processing details. So what are we doing now? So there is a subcontracting field that has to be checked. Purchase info record has to be updated. Purchase organization details have to be updated. Now we are updating all these details: subcontracting, purchase info record, purchase organization. Apart from this, if we need, we can add inspection type to facilitate inspection during goods visit from external operations. Next, we need to assign the components to respective operations. Select the line item and click on the new assignment. Enter the operation to which it needs to be assigned. Now we assign 0020 and enter. Check the details, save routing. So like this, we have to assign the operations and the components respectively, so that when we do the confirmation, these details will be captured properly. A stock will be either added or they will be consumed through if you are assigning them in the routing. Otherwise, everything will be considered in the operation 10 itself. So this one we discussed in the routing session. Please, if you want, please go back and see what we discussed there. As production version is mandatory in S/4HANA, create production version for parent metal finished component with the transaction code C223. If you want to have more understanding on that, what is production version, how to create it, please refer the session on production version in this playlist. So now we will discuss various steps involved in this external operation. First, create and release the production order having these operations with the internal external combinations. In step 2, issue the raw material to the operation 10. Let it be processed in step 3. Step 4, there will be a finished comp HT, that is the phantom code which we assign to this operation 10, which is getting now released. It will be added into the stock. Step 5 is purchase request for external operation will be converted into purchase order. Step 6 is that FinComp IHT, which has come into stock, that will be released. Once you receive it back, then once the operation is completed 20, the supplier will send back the process component, because that is now externally done. Once we received it, we have to confirm that operation 20 in here also again, so that that will be consumed, and then we have to confirm the operation 30 to continue the process. So this is the one cycle. Like this, we have to continue the cycle for all the processes. Under the components tab or components overview of production order, we see the list of components being used in the production orders and their respective operations numbers. Since we consider operation 20 for external operation, we need to send the phantom metal to the supplier. So phantom item will be added into the stock through 100 minus given in operation 10. And then after completing external operation and receiving the metal, we will confirm the second operation. At that time, this metal will be consumed. So here in 10, that will be given as a positive number again. Okay, sorry, it is given as a 20 because that is getting consumed there, right? So I think this is giving more clarity now, and you are able to understand the logic of maintaining the details in the bill of materials, right? Please revisit these things. This will give more clarity for you. We are in the date time tab of the production order. Internal operations are scheduled based on the routine time maintained for respective operations and work centers. Now we are in the date time tab of the external operation. For external operations, they are scheduled normally based on the planned delivery lead time maintained in the purchase info record. If we need to schedule the external operations based on standard values, we may update the settings of control key. Please remember, it has to be done in the control key with the schedule external operations with the standard values. The external operation details are updated in the tab external processing in production order. So there is an indicator for subcontracting. There is a purchase info record details, purchase organization, price, material group, planned delivery lead time, cost elements. All these things are updated. As we have not saved the production order, the purchasing requisition details are not displayed here so far. Earlier, we did not see the purchasing requisition details in the external processing tab. But once order is saved, we can see the purchase requisition details as shown here, the requisition number and also the item number. From here, we can click that icon or the button purchase requisition to display the purchase requisition and see the details there. Please note, the purchase order exists is not checked as we have not converted the purchase requisition to purchase order so far. The next step is to release the production order, that is CO02. Use the release flag to release the production order. As there are no issues in metal availability, order is released, then we have to save this production order. Now order is released. Item wise cost details are updated and displayed here. Please note that the cost of external operation is drawn from the purchase info record. So to get these things, we have to ensure that standard costing is done properly by maintaining the metal masters, info records, routings, all those details. As discussed, for the external operation, purchase request will be created automatically by system when we create the production order. Purchase requisition can be accessed through different ways, CO03 or ME53N, that is display purchase requisition, or ME5A PR list with different selection parameters. As we are discussing purchase requisition created from production order, let us use CO03, that is the display production order, to display the purchase requisition. Here we go to the respective operation and click on the external operations, and then in the external processing tab we see the purchase requisition icon. Now let us click on it to see the purchase requisition details. So here we get the purchase requisition displayed, where we came to this page through production order. Please also refer in the account assignment tab. We can see the production order reference here and also the line item number against which this PR is generated. In the material data tab, we can see the components assigned to this purchase requisition. In our case, phantom metal assigned is displayed. Under source of supply tab, we can see vendor details, purchase info record details. Under contact person tab, we can see creation indicator as F production order, means the PR is generated from production order. So now we have to start the production, right? So the first operation is getting completed. So we have to confirm that particular operation. Production order confirmation is done through transaction CO11N. So capture the production order respective operation number, how much quantity is completed. So here system will pop up the activity types like how much time and all spent as per the standard routing. If you want to capture actual timings, we can update them. Meanwhile, if you want to see the goods details, press this goods movement tab, which is showing on the top left. The goods movement tab, we can see the details of metals involved in this operation. As we maintained negative quantity for phantom item, it is updated here with movement type 531. Please note, because we added negative, because it has to be added. So that addition of the metal through the, it is like a byproduct is getting added. So movement type is 531. And at the same time, the raw metal to be consumed. So it is here updated with the movement type 261. So please take note of these kind of movement types. Once we confirm this operation, 10 numbers raw metal will be consumed and 10 numbers of this, the phantom item will be added into the stock. That is the meaning of this. Okay. Here we see the stock of phantom item before and after confirmation. Since we confirmed the 10 numbers, we get this 10 number phantom here. So now we got the phantom item into the stock. That has to be, we have to create the purchase order to send it to the person who is going to process it, the subcontracting vendor. So it is recommended to create purchase order during these stages. That is, one after completing the operation just before the external operation, or after releasing the production order. Don't create these purchase orders immediately after creating the production orders, because there will be a gap, there may be required to change all those things. Unnecessarily, this will be, again we have to go and close the orders, those things. So it is better to avoid them. So as close as possible, create this, convert this purchase request to purchase orders. In purchase order under account assignment tab, production order and operation numbers are displayed. Once the purchase order is created, it reflects in the production order under the external processing. Earlier we saw that the check mark was not ticked, but now it is ticked, which means that that purchase order is created. So from the production order itself, we can see the details like this. issue the metal to the subcontracting supplier, that is again done through MIGO, and A08 transfer posting, R01 purchase order number, and the movement type is now 541. Since we confirmed 10 numbers only, we are also moving 10 numbers here. Click check all the details and save the document so that metal is issued to the supplier. Here we see the stock. The stock is moved from the supplier to the stock at the vendor place. That we can be seen with a different transaction also that we discussed earlier. Please go through that. We send the metal for external operation. It was processed by supplier and it is sent back. Now we need to receive the stock, so that we have to pay the amount to the supplier, right, for the service what he incurred. So metal was issued through MIGO. Similarly, metal will be received through MIGO only. For this, we use A01 goods receipt, R01 purchase order, that purchase order number, item number, all these things. Movement types, please note it is 101. Check all the parameters and save the document. Goods receipt is done. Stock at supplier is now become 0 because we removed all these 10 back, right? So we added the stock, we sent it to them, he processed it and sent back. Now we have nil stock, that metal anywhere in the plant, because we just created it, it went to supplier, he processed it, sent back. So there is a nil stock. Whenever we get the metal from the supplier after the external operation, if it is partially received, system will show the status like this: EODP, external operation partly delivered. Similarly, if it is fully delivered, it will show like EODL, which is the external operation delivered completely. So with this, now we complete the regular operation here. What did we do so far? We confirmed the first operation of production order, sent the metal up for external operation, and he processed it. We received the back material, and then we confirmed that particular production order, and then we have to continue the further production orders accordingly. So this is one complete cycle for the operation with so the production order with internal and external, and how to execute the external operation is also discussed here. So here now there are a lot of advantages of this external operation. There is a one production order through which we can see all the details. What is the status of purchase order? What is the status of the purchase request? Whether it is converted or not? Cost is captured entirely through production order, so we get the cost properly. The status of these orders will be known from this production order only. So there are many advantages here. So we discussed what is external operation, why do we need it, what are the master data we need, like a metal master, bill of material, purchase info record, work center, routing, and then what are the operations involved in this external operation, like creation of production order, purchase requisition, purchase order conversion, and then production order confirmation, metal issue, goods receipt, all these steps. Now let us see the quiz for this session. What is external operation? What are the differences between subcontracting and external operation? What is the use of phantom material in the external operation? What should be considered in the control key for external operation? Why should you create purchase requisition for external operation manually? Should you create purchase requisition manually? And what are the advantages of external operations? With this topic, we completed regular processes in material management. In the next session, we'll discuss basic configuration. Meanwhile, you practice your external operations, what is explained here, and please give your feedback to improve the flow and contents, and suggest your friends and colleagues to subscribe to the channel so they also get the benefit here. Thank you. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye.